What's up, everybody? How we all doing? It is yet again another Transformers Slag podcast. Saturday night, main event, live stream. It's been a busy week. We had a lot of news, and it's going to be quite the live stream tonight. I'm going to share a reveal/revelation with you guys today. So stay tuned for that. For those who are lucky enough to tune in for the craziness. Nice to see everyone's here. For those that are new to this and this is their first time, this is the voice that you get to hear Monday to Friday chattering about the robots in disguise, and this is the face that goes with it. I apologize for that. We'll try better in the next lifetime. How are you doing? My name's Proto Man, and we're going to go over the news this week like we always do, and it was a crazy week of news, a lot of cool stuff, and man, a lot of stuff that's going to reflect what's going to be happening in the next 6 to 12 months of the Transformer world. So shall we jump into that? We'll go into that. We'll cover some stuff that we got in the mail from the P.O. box. Got a lot of stuff. I'm going to probably sparse it over the next 2 to 3 weeks because we had so much that came. And that'll be that, shall we? We'll take some super chats at the end of it after the news is done, and then we'll relax for the rest of the weekend. So let's jump into that. First thing that we had, that was the big news, was we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming because we had the listing leaks online. We knew that we were going to be getting some kind of repack of our Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Galvatron in the Transformer Legacy line, but we didn't know in what state it would be. Some figured it would just be a straight-up repack like we've seen in the past with Kingdom when it repacked Optimus Prime and RC and Wheeljack, or maybe in the case like even in Earthrise where some stuff got repacked there. But Hasbro did a statement, and they said, due to fan feedback, they will be removing the, quote, battle damage that was on the Kingdom Galvatron and releasing a clean version for that of his Legacy release, which is scheduled for spring of 2022. We also have a picture here for people that have not seen it. It's not out there. His box art and how the box is going to look with its closed box packaging for the leader class. This is probably the first time a lot of people are seeing this. So check that out too with the nice art by Marcelo over there. Marcelo doing amazing work in South America for the Transformers brand and all its cool stuff. And Mario did the packaging design for it this time around. Of course, what I mean by the clean Galvatron, if you see by the little purple arrows there was a whole bunch of little battle damaged areas on the original Kingdom one. Those are absent on this one here. So yeah. Now, we know that it's going to be coming at some point. This is the leaked listing list for 2022 of Transformers Legacy. And if you see in the red box there, Galvatron PR, or a package reset, is going to be a Wave 2 with a Leader Class Blitzwing, supposedly. So, in April, your leader classes will just be Laser Optimus Prime, and then Wave 2 at some point will come around in spring of 2022, probably May, maybe even June, which will be more of an early summer, and you will get your Galvatron. So pretty hype stuff. Again, anyone who was not able to pick up Galvatron the first time around, you get another opportunity. And it's no surprise at all. Because historically, which is crazy, from June 2021 to today, we've had 4 different Galvatrons from that mold. So less than a year, and we've already had this mold 4 times. And I have a very sinking feeling this probably won't be the last time we will see this mold. Hopefully people are also hoping, they're looking carefully at the images and saying that the shoulders were probably fixed on this version because later versions of the Kingdom version, a running change, also had the fixed shoulders. So we shall see what happens. It falls on the factories. And we will see what goes down in the world of Transformers. But again, If you didn't get Galvatron the first time, the second time, or the third time, here's your fourth chance. And like I said, probably not the last time. Not by a long shot. That's for sure. And I'm telling you guys, I get a feeling, I really do, that we're probably going to get a Studio Series 86 one, and it's not going to be that mold. It's going to be something completely different. Next up, let's talk about Micro Machines. We learned two different things over the weekend, and we kind of had to dive deep into them. So we got a whole bunch of different slides in relation to that, so let's do it. First one we got here was, this one was officially announced by Jazzware and Wicked Cool Toys. The Micro Machines Bumblebee playset, which is a Camaro Bumblebee that is massively huge and then opens up and transforms into an Autobot HQ, or as they call it here, an Autobot garage, to kind of get rid of the war element. Although I don't know many garages that have that many turrets hanging on it. But this is pretty cool. It's very reminiscent of Micro Machines back in the 80s and 90s when they had their super van that was a giant minivan that opened up to make a giant city. And now we kind of have that here with the Transformer brand. They say here it's the Chevy Camaro, which kids could transform into an Autobot garage featuring more than 10 action zones. Kids can navigate the 3 floors of ramps and roadways and combine Bumblebee with other Micro Machine playsets. And what's cool about these Micro Machine playsets is chances are they're probably also going to be compatible maybe with some of those Earthrise and some of the Kingdom kind of playset ramps too. But again, that's not confirmed. We shall see with that, but there might be some kind of synergy with that. What's up, Larry? Again, it says here it comes with an exclusive Barricade Micro Machines vehicle, which is those little Micro Machines that are only 3 centimeters for anyone who isn't familiar with Micro Machines. An old man like me is quite familiar with Micro Machines. Absolutely love that brand. Have a lot of fond memories with Micro Machines as a kid. I know it's going to sound cliche, but I had an uncle who worked for the distributor of Galoob, which had Micro Machines, so I had a lot of Micro Machines as a kid. I know everyone's always saying, oh, I have an uncle that works for a company, but I'm serious, I actually did. So this is priced to be $34.99, spring 2022 release. Keep an eye out in your die-cast section. Usually these things are in the die-cast section or in the like Hot Wheels section, so they're not normally in the action figure section if you are interested in these. But that's not it when it comes to Micro Machines. Not only you get this Camaro B with exclusive Barricade, there's also something that just started showing up just a few days ago. In a Target in California, these were found of the Micro Machines line, and these are their mystery packs. Now, Micro Machines, since Jazzware and Wicked Cool Toys has taken over the licensing of it from Hasbro, well, they're licensing it from Hasbro. Hasbro still owns it technically. They've been doing a lot of blind pack kind of stuff. They've been doing blind pack vehicles, blind pack playsets, and this continues this blind pack playset kind of style. Now, keep in mind, even though Transformers is involved in this, not all of the playsets in this blind pack are Transformer related. It says here there's 6 different kinds of playsets to find, and it's a case of 12, so each case will have 2 of each of these different playsets. And the ones that you could find are Bugatti related, MMX related, which is an airline company, GM, Transformers, BMW, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. So there's 2 different Transformer ones here. We do not know if they are identifiable from codes on the packaging or something. Some of the blind pack kind of stuff that we've had in the past does have codes on them that are usually from the factory. But then again, you have stuff like Lego that's also really good with the blind pack stuff that doesn't have codes for the factory. So it makes it a little difficult for us to kind of track down. What sucks for collectors like us, if we're not interested in the non-Transformer stuff, it'll lead to something where you might end up like, you know, if you look on the top right of the image here, you have the Optimus Prime playset, but right under it is the MMX airline playset. So you might end up with something that's not Transformer related in flavor, and that'll kind of suck. So the MSRP on these are $8.99 each, so about $9. They come in this like little plastic casing that opens up to make a playset. The Optimus Prime one here on display is the original Transformers 2007 one. We do not know what the theme or the flavor of the Revenge of the Fallen one is, but judging by the fact that there has been variants within the Micro Machines line of Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Starscream, it's probably going to be Starscream or Bumblebee related. If I was a betting man, probably Bumblebee, just because it's the name brand more popular character to use for them. But at the same time, I also think they're probably going to use Bumblebee because they've done Camaros in the past Micro Machines, and they might as well make the use of that mold. There's the clear versions. If you look on the bottom left there and the bottom right, there's all the variants. Optimus had a regular version and a battle damage one. Bumblebee has a regular version and a clear one. And Starscream has a regular version and his Revenge of the Fallen one. So someone is going to have their variant put into that other one. We shall see. And when it comes to Micro Machines thus far, you know, what we have of Transformers, here's everything that's going to be available at some point. We don't know when everything will hit stores. Obviously, this blind pack stuff showed up early, and we know spring 2022 for the Bumblebee playset. But here's all the vehicles that will be available that we know of at the moment. More to come, I'm sure. But if you want to also get some other stuff to kind of build up your Micro Machine playset that has a little bit of a Transformer flavor, well, there's a lot of stuff you could kind of use your imagination. The Micro Machine Police Chase set has the police car Mustang that's done in blue, so it could be your recon barricade, I guess, if you want to use your imagination. You have a set of construction vehicles all done in orange, which is similar to the orange G2 repaints of the Constructicons from back in the day. They did an orange repaint. They did an orangey yellow kind of repaint, and you know, there's so many variants of that. And then, of course, there's another one here, too. There's the Micro Machines Global Sport Cars. And there's a red Camaro. Not Camaro, excuse me. A red Corvette. And if you could use your imagination, maybe even find a little flame sticker. You could put it on the hood. You have to be a very tiny flame sticker. You could get yourself a little road rage. A lot of these ones here are available right now in Target and Walmart. So if you want to kind of get started early and use your imagination with the Micro Machines brand, there's some of that stuff too. So be sure to check that out. Let's talk about our new Transformers series. Talk about a ride we're going to have with this. We got to see the trailer as well as tons of information about our new Transformers series, Botbots. This is not going to be our main Transformers series. That's going to be Transformers Earthspark. This is going to be our side series aimed at a younger demographic, much like Rescue Bots. But there's just something so unique and charming about this that I'm so curious and want to know more. Now, we saw our trailer today as well as a bunch of information about the series. They're going to be 10-minute episode. They're going to be 10 episodes that are 22 minutes each, full-size episodes of storytelling, 10 of them, which is pretty standard for Netflix because this is going to be initially a Netflix series. Might be something that'll be seen elsewhere afterwards, but for now it's going to be exclusive to Netflix. And Netflix, normally when they do an order of a show, when they want to keep it safe with a budget because they don't know how successful it'll be, they usually do orders between of 7, 8, 9, or 10. I mean, again, I say look at stuff like even Disney, what they do with, Book of Boba Fett that was recently. That was, I think, 6 episodes or 7 episodes. They usually play it safe like that, so it's the same thing here. We're going to have 10 episodes, 22 minutes each. And, flash animation. Looks like the editing is pretty good, and the voice acting is pretty decent. And it's quite a flavorful cast. Like, let me tell you, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of characters that are going to be in this show. And two that of particular that I'm excited about, we now confirmed that the Dukes is going to be in the show, who is the very first official Transformers poop. And also Puxy is going to be in the show, the Transformer hockey puck. And for a Canadian like me, that's very important. But yeah, hey, we got all the faction symbols. We got the locations in the mall. We got all the different crews and all the different characters. A lot of these toys that have been out for almost 3 years now. with no fiction to follow it up with. So now we have something to kind of take care of all of that. There's so much going on here, so much. But we will see what happens in the future, because this might be quite successful. Who knows? But the most important thing that we learned from all of this is what our main cast is going to be. And that is our main cast of the Lost Bots. Now, the story is that the Lost Bots are a crew of Transformers that got separated from their different factions and are all in the Lost and Found section of the mall. And they're all trying to get back to their, quote, factions or families or groups and just try to discover each other at the same time and have adventures. And so, again, all the Lost Bots are based off of pre-existing Botbots toys. One of them actually wasn't originally a Lost Bot, but then they've been kind of retroactively made one. All of them, except for that one, were all actual Lost Bot characters. So you got from left to right, we have Bonsai, which I believe is female, judging by the voice actor and just the general appearance. That's the one with the green frou-frou hair there, and on the bottom left, you can see that's what their figure initially looked like. Then you got Kick Me, which is the soccer ball, also I believe is female, with the long legs and the soccer ball head. Then we got our Optimus Prime leader character of Burgertron, or as I like to call him, Burger Convoy. He looks pretty cool too. He was also part of the Botbots Series 1 Lost Bots. Then we got Dimlit, the flashlight. Again, Series 1 Lost Bots. Plenty of those out there. And lastly, we got Clogstopper, the unhygienic unclogging plunger, which would probably work very well with a Super Mario figure too. So these are going to be our main cast of 5 characters, or 5-man band as they call it. And actually 2 ladies and 3 dudes. And looks pretty cool though. I like it a lot. Looks really good. And we're going to learn more about that. Now, if you notice there, they're riding in a pizza, in a slice of pizza as their car here. Now, there's a little something going on with that, because back in April of 2021, last year, we learned about a pizza transformer vehicle for Botbots. And that was when we didn't know much about this TV series, and we just had this leaked image of the Botbots Ruckus Rally, and we saw this transforming pizza that was a vehicle for the Botbots, and then, of course, a game controller also that transforms into some kind of jet. So now we kind of have an idea of what that pizza is going to be because of what we've seen in the show thus far in this trailer. So take from that what you will. That was something we learned way back in April. Way back in April. And now we have some information. So now we know that the little pepperoni slices are going to come off and make the wheels, and then they go back onto the vehicle and cover up the holes where the Botbots would sit in as their car. Pretty interesting stuff. Again, you know, it's aimed to be at a younger demographic, but there's so many fresh characters and fresh IPs and fresh trademarks, and it's a different idea. It has a little bit of a Toy Story kind of element to it, because they have to hide that they're sentient from the security guard, who's a big dummy, and he's trying to capture them because he swears that he's seen them alive and moving around. So there's kind of this Toy Story kind of element. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out and what they do and the story that's there. It's not going to be some crazy war story for Transformers or something, or some dark story. It's going to be a very simple story for a younger demo, but still something that I feel we could enjoy even as adults and as fans of the brand. And especially because it's something different. It's not just Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, Starscream, and the same thing that we've been getting for so long. You know? It's the same. It's not the same thing. Michael Koo says, too bad Botbots photo camera wasn't named Refractor. Instead, he's called Papa Clicks. Well, there's a few. I mean, there's a few things that I would have probably done a little differently in terms of, like, you know, I would have brought in, like, I've said this before on the stream in nauseum, but, you know, I would have brought in Botanica have one of the plant characters at least be Botanica, because that's a trademark that they haven't used in Hasbro, nor have they made a Botanica toy. So that'd be kind of a good excuse to do a plant transformer in a weird subline. And then, hey, after 3 to 4 years, you could then take that trademark, use it again, and then do a legitimate Botanica figure whenever you want to, when the brand's in a different place. Michael goes on to say, for the Dukes, have Ariel from Dr. Slum make a guest appearance. Yeah, that's a deep cut to the Akira Toriyama stuff. Downright Superb, do you think the Botbots could be used retroactively to explain Maximals and Predacons? They're smaller and have organic components. Well, the way that it was explained in the trailer is an energon cloud hit, which is like, what's an energon cloud on Earth? Hit the mall and everything came to life. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Transformer science liberty, let's put it this way. What continuity is it in? Is it its own continuity? Is it part of the G1 continuity? Is it part of the Unicron trilogy? That's another question, too, that needs to be asked. Where does it fit in the grand scheme of things? Is there going to be like some kind of cameo of a mainline character that'll then kind of cement it to where it belongs? Who knows? And then Michael Koo says, the Netflix series tweaks their origin. We're an energon cloud instead of lightning strikes, bringing the Botbots to life. Yep. Well, there was the toy commercial. They did like a glorified toy commercial, I think 2 years ago, which kind of told a similar story. In a lot of ways, you could still find it on YouTube. But this one kind of cements it more. So we'll see what happens. Again, this is coming out March 25th. So put that on your calendar if you want to check it out. Again, March 25th. I mean, we've had such a drought of Transformer fiction that I welcome this with open arms, and I'm curious to see what it is. I have quite a few Botbots. I have mostly Series 1 stuff, some Series 2, some stuff that I got through Mikey and Louie when they were kind of getting rid of their doubles in their collection. And, of course, we did a big giveaway on the podcast where we gave away, I think, $50 worth of Botbots to people. So hopefully it'll be fun. And hopefully everyone will be able to enjoy it. Let's get into the next thing. This was one of the other big pieces of news, and there's also going to be a little bit of a reveal for you guys today, and it's that of the Transformers collaborative that we got, the His Tank Megatron. Now, this was something that we talked about before. We were like, well, 40th anniversary of G.I. Joe is this year. It's also the 35th anniversary, the 45th anniversary of Star Wars. It's also the 25th anniversary of Starship Troopers. It's going to be something. That trooper listing has got to be something related to one of these anniversaries. And, well, 40th anniversary of G.I. Joe was not going to go unnoticed. And we have here today the Transformers collaborative G.I. Joe 40th anniversary His Tank Megatron with Baroness. And I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks really, really, really cool. It's the first time that we've had a legitimate Transformers G.I. Joe crossover that was a transforming vehicle. I'm not going to count the titanium 6-inch because that was kind of just, added in post. That's something that was written on the packaging that really, it does not look like a G.I. Joe Megatron tank. But I think this looks really, really cool. According to their marketing listing, transforms in 28 steps. The box art and the box design was done by Mario from Hasbro. As of this recording, it was supposed to MSRP for $89.99, $90 on Hasbro Pulse. Supposedly it's sold out right now. Maybe they'll get more afterwards, but looks really cool. The Baroness that comes with it is the original 1985 O-ring Baroness figure from the back in the day. So I really like that there's an attempt to keep that synergy of having the 3-inch and a quarter figures being able to function with these. And the His Tank itself is actually 1-to-1 scale with the original His Tank toy from back in the day of 1984. So that's pretty hype too in a lot of ways. Now I just want to post some extra images here for context. Now again, the Baroness figure fits inside, so there's a strong emphasis on having that synergy where it's not only Transformer toys that transform into G.I. Joe vehicles, but your G.I. Joe toys can interact with those Transformer vehicles, which is pretty cool because we've had stuff like the X-Men stuff, the Back to the Future, the Ghostbusters. None of those were designed to have any kind of synergy with those previously existing toy lines. This is the first time that we've really had something like that, and I appreciate that a lot. The Baroness figure also is in a individually carded figure, so if you open it up and you don't want the Baroness figure, you have a carded Baroness figure that you could kind of sell on the side and make a little extra cash. Or if you want to sell it to Proto Man, because Proto Man wouldn't mind getting an extra Baroness figure carded, it would put me in a situation where I won't have to make a decision to open her or not if I have two of them. But yeah, so that's another cool thing too. If you want the Baroness figure, you know, she's carded and protected inside the packaging. On the bottom left here, this was something I posted on my Twitter also, if you follow me on Twitter, @ProtoMan. I wanted to show people how big this Megatron is because BMAX said that it's pretty much Commander-ish scale. So I kind of wanted to show people what that could be because Commander-ish isn't really a way to kind of scale a figure, considering we've had 3 different Commander figures and all 3 of them are various different sizes in their robot modes. You know, even Skylinks, because of his design, has a unique kind of robot mode, if you want to even call it a robot mode. Let's call it a alternate mode. And then, of course, Rodimus with the trailer leads to a much smaller kind of robot mode. And Jetfire, being a large character, is going to lead to a large robot mode. So I just wanted to show our largest Commander class we've gotten up to this point, which is Commander class Jetfire. I put my 3-inch, my 3-inch 1985 Baroness next to it to compare. And it gives you a general idea. Obviously, my angles are a little off. It's kind of hard with a big figure. But it gives you a general idea of how big this Megatron is going to be in general. If you look carefully, I put a little ruler there. So we're thinking, you know, maybe like 10 inches, maybe like 9, something around that. But still looks really good. I'm excited about it. Looks really, really cool. My only complaint is, in all honesty, and I love the character Baroness to death, but interesting that they chose Baroness to use with Megatron. I would have probably put Cobra Commander. And the reason why I say interesting choice with Baroness, because Baroness, historically, and if you look on the bottom right here, has been associated with Ravage in a lot of the G.I. Joe crossover material and even in other merchandise. You had the SDCC 2013 Baroness with Ravage, and then you had the unreleased first 4-figure statue of Ravage with Baroness. So I'm pretty surprised that they went this route and they decided to include her with the Megatron instead of Cobra Commander. I think the only explanation I could come up with is they just kind of want to put out all the different Baroness figures because we had a retro 3 1/4 reissue, but it was a newer Baroness mold that came out from, I believe it was 2012. Yeah, I think it was the 2012 release. And then, of course, we have all the 6-inch ones that we got now coming, and then the ones that we had before with Cobra Island. They never did a O-Ring original 1985 reissue. Here was their chance, I guess. Why no Cobra Commander? I don't know, but that's just it. Now let's talk about something else. There's going to be another one. There's going to be another G.I. Joe Transformer 2-pack collaborative. Now, who is that character? That's who that character is. So on the back of the packaging, it has a little piece of information that is a teaser for the next one. Surveillance has detected spies scouting Cobra Base. Unauthorized vehicle is identified as Subject B. Be prepared to intercept. Their sting is sharp, but we are poised to strike. The next one is going to be a Bumblebee G.I. Joe collaborative. The question is, who is he going to come with? And this is where it adds more to a little bit of why I think they probably put Baroness with Megatron. Now, the B part, I'm guaranteed 100% it's going to be Bumblebee, but the associated character with him is not 100% confirmed. But Scarlet has been associated with Bumblebee with a lot of this crossover material. You have Baroness, and you could have Scarlet on the other side, and whatever Bumblebee turns into, it'll probably make sense. And that's your little piece of new information for today. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. The thing is, I figure there's got to be some kind of G.I. Joe vehicle that works with it, because I understand a lot of people were saying, oh, it's got to be Optimus Prime, it's going to be it's going to be the Rolling Thunder, it's going to be this. But what people are failing to understand is there has to be 3 1/4 synergy. There has to be the ability for those 3 1/4 figures to still function with the toy. If it's the Rolling Thunder, I own the Rolling Thunder. It's a big sucker. So I don't think it's going to be the Rolling Thunder. And that's why they went with Bumblebee, something that's a little smaller probably, or something that's also in that His Tank kind of flavor, something that could still have the 3 1/4 action figure synergy and give you someone to punch Baroness in the face in that of Scarlet. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool if that's the case. We will see what happens. I can't guarantee the Scarlet, but I could definitely guarantee that it's Bumblebee. And I was told through different sources that it's not as exciting, but that's more their own personal opinion. So we will find out what happens soon enough. Maybe some kind of G.I. Joe classic kind of Jeep, maybe some kind of G.I. Joe, the APC. Who knows? But we will see. It'll be a G.I. Joe member. It'll be somebody. And it'll be with Bumblebee. And that's your big news for today. For those. You could go spread that on the boards now. But that was, again, it was right in everyone's face and no one was paying attention to it. It was written right on the back. And it was kind of suggested that, oh, hey, like this is going to be what your Trooper 2 is going to be. And no one, I guess people were too busy just ragging on the Megatron and saying how expensive it was or something and not paying attention to what the other one will be. What is the MSRP? When is it going to come out? How is it going to be available? We don't know. But give it some time and that information will be there and you'll hear it here like you always do. And that's it for the news, more or less. Sorry if that took too long, but that was more or less the news for this week. We had a lot of cool stuff. Just want to cover some other things. Again, check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, the other podcast that I do. It's on YouTube right now, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We do a lot of other Hasbro and Kenner brands, as well as we just started a Transformer series of them, starting with obviously Transformers Armada. And we plan to put out more episodes in the near future, so be sure to stay tuned. These are long-form podcast episodes that are also very visual, so be sure to check those out and enjoy them to death. Downright Superb says, Proto, for your information, somebody photoshopped that His Tank Megatron to be all black, and it looked way better. Well, you have to understand from the marketing standpoint, you got to have something that still conveys Generation 1 Megatron on a color kind of thing. Like, let's just pull it up for the heck of it. Where are we? You got to have those colors. You got to still kind of show them, because this isn't just aimed at hardcore Transformer fans that know what Megatron is and how he's supposed to look. This is also aimed at G.I. Joe fans that might not be familiar too much with the Transformer brand. They have a vague recollection of Generation 1 Megatron in the 1984 cartoon. This is aimed at casual fans that might not be like hardcore G.I. Joe or Transformer fans, but they love both of those brands and want to own them. The reality is, what I saw more than anything else when it came to the collaborative line is it really got the attention of people who I knew personally who were not fans of Transformers. Like when that Ectotron came out, all my friends who were like even not Transformer fans, they wanted to get it because it was so cool. Same thing with the Back to the Future one, with the Gigawatt and the DeLorean. It targets these in-betweens of they're not hardcore Transformer fans and they're not really like hardcore toy collectors, but this is a cool thing that they could have on their desk or something. And that's what this kind of stuff really targets, the collaborative stuff, is it tries to find the best of both worlds, and sometimes even targets an audience that normally wouldn't be a regular buyer of this kind of stuff, you know? Tom Laney says Earth Wars has a Hiss Tank Soundwave. Yeah, and there's been a few, like Optimus Prime was a Hiss Tank in the Devil's Due comic. Like the Hiss Tank transforming thing, Shockwave was a Hiss Tank that didn't transform in one of the SDCC box sets. There's been a lot of different Transformer characters that transform into Hiss Tanks. Just it's the first time we've gotten an official figure that transforms, so it's a big deal. It says here, I hope Hasbro doesn't. Michael Koo says, I hope Hasbro doesn't reuse the Studio Series 77 Nest Bumblebee mold. They won't, because again, you have to have that 3 1/4 synergy. That's way too small a deluxe toy to do that. So they won't do that for sure. Elvesbleed 57 says G.I. Joe has already reissued O-Ring, Storm Shadow, and Snake Eyes, Cobra Trooper, and Officer, and Duke with Cobra Commander. Yep. Well, a lot of those O-Ring ones are out there, so it doesn't surprise me at some point that they have to do Baroness, and this is one way to do it. And I think maybe because there's so much other Baroness product that's meant for retail, specifically those single-pack 6-inch ones that we're going to be getting at Walmart, and we already had the Cobra Island one, we already had Baroness and a ton of Snake Eyes products. Maybe they're going like, okay, there's a lot of Baroness on the shelf, maybe we could, put her in an exclusive kind of capacity. That's one way. Then again, also the thing with Scarlet that I'm kind of maybe figuring that could be it too. But there's a lot of different things. Again, might as well get to our sponsor since he's now the star of the show. Symbiote Studios with their plush pins and T-shirts. Be sure to pick them up. Some of the stuff is currently sold out. You could pick up Bumblebee. You could pick up Soundwave, brand new Soundwave. You can pick up Megatron. The others are sold out right now. You could also pick up the awesome pins and everything. The Megatron pin set is available. And all the T-shirts have been restocked after some crazy buying. So be sure to check those out. Or pick up Unicron, because Unicron is crazy huge. Look at the Bumblebee. Bumblebee, they're still pretty big. They're like this big, the plushes. But Unicron is massive. So again, symbiotestudios.com. Be sure to check out their stuff and all the Transformer brands. And again, pick up their brand new Soundwave for Wave 4. And Bumblebee is back in stock after being sold out multiple times. Because he's so cute. Or judging me. One or the other. Probably judging me. Look at those side eyes. And again, there's still more to come later this year. We will have them all revealed later this year. It's just right now, the ports are crazy. Everything's getting slowed down. When the finals are finally at the office, they'll take some nice professional photos, and we will have them revealed here on the podcast before everyone else. So get ready for that, guys, when that time comes. I'm pretty sure you could take a guess who it is, but that's on its way. And if you like other Hasbro brands, of course, you got G.I. Joe, you got My Little Pony, and you got Power Rangers. Again, symbiotestudios.com. Check it out, yo. Link in the description below. Elvesbleed 57 says, Proto, if a G.I. Joe collab does well, do you think there could be more than 2? I mean, I would hope so. I mean, when you really think about it, like the very first major crossover for Transformers, yeah, you can mention, Spider-Man appeared in issue 3 and stuff like that. But G.I. Joe and Transformers have had more crossovers than any other brand. And it's crazy how those two have crossed over so much, yet it took this long to finally get legitimate G.I. Joe Transformer product. We had an entire line of Marvel Transformers, Star Wars Transformers, and it took so long to get proper G.I. Joe Transformer stuff. Yeah, there was like some stuff with Fun Publication. There's like a bat that was a repaint of Transformers Prime Soundwave, and there was some SDCC exclusives of non-transformable vehicles that were G.I. Joe scaled. But, and only human toys from Fun Publication that were just G.I. Joe molds. It's existed, but we never had a legitimate G.I. Joe versus Transformer packaged product that was transformable. And so it took this long, but we finally got to it. Fantastic. I think it's great. I know a lot of people are kind of wishy-washy on it, but I think it's fantastic. And there's more to grow from this. There's so much more to come. If this does very well, which it looks like it did because it already sold out on Hasbro Pulse, we'll definitely probably see more in the future. There's probably a lot of people that are going like, if the Trooper 2B sells out, we could probably do more. Then they could probably look at stuff like Optimus Prime or Soundwave or some of the other heavy hitter characters and create that kind of synergy. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just backed that giant Mr. Hyde Kickstarter figure. Looks awesome. I never saw it. What's the Mr. Hyde Kickstarter figure? I didn't see that. Tom Laney, they even had them crossover in cartoon well with Cobra Commander. Yeah, there's so much. Look, Old Snake from season 3 episode Only Human crossover. They did, Marissa Fairborn, that's supposed to be, Flint's, daughter. So, and then of course, Marissa Fairborn would be in other fiction too, keeping that G.I. Joe connection. It's been around forever. And it's crazy how like we got this fleshed out like crazy Marvel Transformers crossover line and Star Wars. And yeah, there was Avengers versus Transformer crossover comic, and Star Wars Transformers never really had any concrete fiction. But G.I. Joe is the one that really should have had from the get-go. And I'm just surprised it took this long, but I'm glad that it's happened at least, because better late than never, like I always say. Better late than never. But yeah. So I'm going to get into, we got a whole bunch of stuff in the P.O. box over the past couple of weeks, and I'm slowly going to go through it over the next couple of weeks because it's a lot to open up and a lot to take care of. Again, thank you for everyone who sends stuff to the P.O. box. You don't have to, but I know that there's always people that sometimes they can't do the Patreon or they can't do something else, so that's a way that they could give back to the podcast. We got two we're going to do today. We got a huge box from Jason. Jason, we'll get to you next week because Jason sent in a whole bunch of stuff. First, we'll get into Travis. My buddy Travis sent the Cyberverse Ultimate Class Cyberverse Season 4 Dinobots Unite. Season 3 Dinobots Unite Hot Rod. I've been waiting to pick this up. This one never showed up in stores. I was hoping it would show up in Toys R Us because of its large dimensions, and Toys R Us would normally have that. I think they probably got one case, and the case was probably like, one Hot Rod and one Volcanicus. I've yet to see Volcanicus in person either, so maybe they never even got cases of these. But I really wanted this one because this was like the Sage Hot Rod. This is kind of like, Hot Rod in the later years when he becomes Alpha Trion, kind of. So I dig that a lot. It's such a shame they didn't paint the weapon though, even though they show like, it has detail here, but they didn't paint it. Still pretty cool though. It has the Energon armor again. Thank you, Travis. That's really awesome. I'm going to do a really cool photo shoot in the near future when I get all my Cyberverse Hot Rod stuff together. I'll do a nice little photo shoot of everything. And then Michael Koo sent a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Let me just lean in and get everything here, because he sent a nice little box of stuff and some stuff that's actually going to be in the TFCon charity auction too, which I'll get into in a moment. So Michael sent a big box of stuff. Let's do some of the non-Transformer related stuff. So he sent me some Super Mario Lego. It's Fuzzy, the underwater new Super Mario Brothers character, the little poly bag. So that's pretty cool. Gonna build that in the near future when I get some time. In Lego relation, I guess, but maybe not so much, because now Lego is going to be with Transformers. We have the Universal Studios Creo set. This was exclusive to Universal Studios, Transformers The Ride. This was the exclusive Creo set where you would get these main characters, but the main one that was exclusive to it was the Nest Sentry. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty cool. I dig that. So that goes with my almost near complete Creo collection. I'm still missing a few, but not too many. I really dig the Creo. Really dig it. Again, thank you, Michael, for that. Then he sent some DVDs too. I'll go into DVDs. So one DVD that he sent Shike Leon the movie, the DVD of Shike Leon the movie with subtitles. This one I believe is It's probably the Hong Kong subtitle version because it's very similar to what I would see sometimes in Chinatown in my area. I have not watched it yet, but I will. It looks really, really good. So Shike Leon is Takara's other transforming robot brand, except it's completely bullet trains. Fun little show. This is the movie, which happens, I believe, after season 2. So can't wait to watch that. Again, thank you, Michael. Looks really good. Looks really good. He also included some other DVDs, but these ones are going to be, as he put here, these are going to be for the TFCon charity auction. It's Master Force and Headmasters, the DVD box sets. They're still sealed up. These will be on TFCon's charity auction for Make-A-Wish Foundation in Toronto. Now, I can't confirm that it's 100% going to happen because we're still like 5 months away, but it's looking good thus far. So hopefully it'll happen. But there will be a charity auction at TFCon Toronto, and these will be up for auction. So if you want to help Make-A-Wish Foundation, thank you, Michael, for donating these for Make-A-Wish Foundation, where TFCon, what we do is we auction hundreds of products. We usually get one of the voice actors to help with it too, because they're really good for auctioning. You can find old YouTube videos of some of that, where you see me running around grabbing stuff. And we then take all the money and we donate it to Make-A-Wish Foundation. And Make-A-Wish, sometimes, depending on what the wish of the child is, it's usually their dying wish. Sometimes it could be between $5,000 to $50,000, depending on what the wish is. So this is going to help a lot, so that's pretty cool, man. Thanks for the donation. That's really cool, man. And last but not least, I didn't expect this one. Third-party Black Agent Transart, the Covert Agent Ravage masterpiece. Wow. Did not expect that. I think it looks fantastic. Yeah. With the little magnets that hold covert, let's put it this way. This is fantastic too. Don't get me wrong. I love the packaging on it that Mikey and Louie sent me, and I still kind of want to get a second one just because it looks so cool. But my goodness, this one too looks really good. And it has heavy metal in it and all kinds of gimmicks. Pretty much, again, like that. This one's retail. This is like a masterpiece scale. And it's just, I love the articulation on it, the interchangeable hands, the fact that there's magnets, just like in the show where he kind of just put his weapon and it just kind of attached. That's really awesome. I dig it a lot. The tail is articulated because it's a wire on the inside, so you could kind of like pose it any way you want. Just looks really cool. And again, like all kinds of, you could even make his hair go up. Kind of always looked like Anubis to me. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for, one of the Egyptian gods or something, but really, 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 really cool. Thank you, Michael, for that. Really awesome figure. Really, really awesome figure. He's going to be on my shelf looking back at me. Covert Agent Ravage of the Decepticon Special Police. Really, really cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Thank you so much. We have more stuff in the P.O. box. We're going to tackle that next week. There's a lot. There's a lot. Some of it you might kind of get previews of it if I post some of it on Instagram or on Twitter. So just be sure to follow my Instagram or Twitter if you want to see some cool photos of stuff. But yeah, a lot of really cool stuff. Again, Michael, thank you for everything. And again, Travis also for the Rodimus. The Rodimus one, I'm going to have to get all the Cyberverse figures together. And I'm going to do a nice photo shoot of all the Cyberverse Rodimuses, the red ones, not the black colored ones. I have to still get a few more of those. But we will see what happens. We will see what happens. Still so much to take care of. And again, Toronto, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. It's still a long way to go, but we will see. The world's getting a little better. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. World's still crazy, like I always say, but it's getting a little better. So let's get into some Super Chat questions. We'll take some Super Chat questions and we'll just relax. We got about, an hour left in the stream. It's probably going to fly like crazy, but a lot of cool stuff. But again, a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff. I also got, unrelated to Transformers, I got a whole bunch. You can't see on my desk here. It's a little bit messy. because I got a whole bunch of Keshigumus from my buddy in Korea, and he sends me a bunch of. This is Kim Kapwan from King of Fighters, and then I got Gal Ford from Samurai Showdown, and then I got Zeton from Ultraman. I got a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of these Keshigumus. He sends me a whole bunch of them because they cost like nothing. Here's a polyester from Samurai Pizza Cats, and then Yari no Kung Fu. It's an old Famicom Nintendo game back in the day, one of the very first fighting games actually. I got a whole bunch. Here's Ash Ketchum, nice little Ash Ketchum one. These things he gets them by like the bucketful, and then he kind of sifts through them and finds the ones that he knows I'll like, and then he'll send them to me because it costs absolutely nothing. This one too was thrown in with it. This little cat toad. I like video game merch, any kind, especially Japanese video game merch. So anytime he finds that stuff, he always like sends it to me because it costs nothing. Like Keshigumus in Japan and Korea and China are a dime a dozen. There's so many of them. Downright superb with the question, Proto, what are your favorite Western dinosaur dragon Transformers? Why don't we get more? Seems like Dinobots could be a separate thing like Botbots in their own. Well, Dinobots have been a separate thing on 2 separate occasions. I mean, we had the Beast Machines Dinobots line, which was a standalone. And then there was this weird like purgatory line in between Armada and Energon that was a Transformers Dinobots line also, which was like repaints of previously existing Dino characters from the Beast Wars era. Dinosaurs sell well, and they do it. Look, you want more Dino lines. Look at what was happening with Rescue Bots, the Dinobot Adventures line. It was all dinosaur stuff. Granted, again, repaints of previously existing molds, but the Transformers always has dinosaurs. As for my favorite one, pretty much I always there's this one Dinobot named Arcanus, and he kind of has this like blondie. It's a Beast Wars Neo, Beast Wars 2nd mold from the Japanese side, and they imported it here as Air Raptor, I believe they called him. I think they called him Air Raptor in the Beast Machines Dinobots line. He kind of had this blondie, good, the bad, and the ugly design. It's one of my favorite Beast Wars molds. It's so cool the way the design is. It was a Japanese exclusive, but it was released in the West. It was part of the Beast Machines Dinobots line. So that's a pretty good one of my favorite ones. What's another really good one? What's another really, really good one? I mean, I'm really liking that Megatron mold from Kingdom. That one's really nice. I mean, all I have is the T-Rex version, but man, this is like, he's a heavy boy. Very, very happy with that. I'm so not used to having, heavy Transformers at a leader class or less price point because of how stuff is getting hollowed out throughout the years. But that's another really good one too. But yeah, I'm gonna go definitely with I think his name was Air Raptor. That was the Western name for it. It was the one that was that bird, that dinosaur bird one, that just transformed into Arcanus. Let's see. Horned Owl, hey Proto, those Botbots from giveaways were amazing, and they made excellent additions to my Botbot collection. Thanks again, Proto, and all involved. Looking forward to Series 6 in stores. Thank you, Horned Owl. Yeah, you were the one who won that crazy collection. Well, a good thing you got it. You got it before the show was announced, so you kind of are ahead of the curve. You already got a whole bunch, so you got a head start. Who knows? And that's the thing, too. I'm really wondering, how are they going to, the show's going to come out in less than, about, what's the date today? We're 26. In less than a month, the show's going to come out. And what's the Botbot situation on shelves right now? Like, people are going to be excited about this show coming out. They're going to see the product on the show, and then they're going to want to buy it. But what's Botbots' footprint in Walmarts and Targets right now? It's not very good, especially a lot of those characters in the show that are Series 1 characters, and if there's anything left over lingering on the shelves, it's like Series 4 and 5. So very weird how Hasbro tackled it from a business standpoint. They really should have, had everything working together. I mean, I still think that the show coming out 2.5 years after the toys did is not the best way to go about it. And then everyone that's really featured in the show is a Series 1 thing that came out in 2018. That's a little tough, you know? Downright Superb says, I'm just saying Dinobots can be a completely separate brand to the Transformers brand. Ooh, I don't think they want to do that. I think they still want to have Grimlock and everything. The worst thing you would ever want to do is when something is a breakout thing, that you want to separate it from the main thing. If that thing in the line is what's really helping the line move forward, you really want to kind of keep it in there. I mean, like give an example, G.I. Joe, at one point Snake Eyes was so popular in the 80s that they renamed the comic book Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe. They didn't change the numbering, it was still the same numbers, but Snake Eyes was the top marquee. And yeah, you could give Snake Eyes his own book or something, but you got to keep him in there. And I mean, look what happened when we did a Snake Eyes movie standalone. You know, you got to keep what is the most popular thing. You got to keep in that brand and not just have it break away. And if it breaks away, you still got to keep them in that brand. Like, you got to keep the Dinobots in Transformers. But I think the Dinobots would do fine as a toy line on their own, but as a show, you'd have to really make those Dinobot characters very diverse and unique in terms of personality. Because I think, like, even if it's like 12 episodes of me Grimlock, me Slag, me Sludge, me Snarl, me this, me that, I think it would catch up very quickly. You'd have to do something where the characters are very unique amongst each other, to say the least. We got a super chat for 5 bones from Michael Koo. And Michael Koo says, if Hasbro didn't trademark any Botbot names, can they reissue their toys? Well, yeah. Well, number one, they could reissue the toys. Number two, the sad thing is like you mentioned, most of those Botbot names were not trademarked. They didn't do it because probably they didn't have confidence in most of those trademarks. I think they're just hoping more that nobody trademarked Burgertron, nobody trademarked Clogstopper, or alternatively, maybe they just don't care about having those names trademarked and worrying about it. That's a possibility too. I'd have to check the U.S. Trademark Office and see if anything has been trademarked, but I know that those past 2 years, a lot, Frosteratu and the Dukes and all those, none of those were trademarked. So we'll see what happens. Again, my bigger concern is that product even going to be there? That's my thing, is like, where is the product on the shelves when we're less than a month away from a movie? Not a movie, a TV series. That needs to be on the shelves now to get, like, people are seeing those trailers online. And again, this is aimed at a younger demographic. We're not talking like me and you who's going to watch it and then go to eBay. Like, you're going to have kids who are going to see it on an iPad, which is the demographic it's aimed at. And sometimes the kid is only going to have that opportunity to make a bid for those toys when he takes that trip to Walmart or Target. But if it's not on the shelves, he's not going to ask for it. He's going to point at a Star Wars toy instead, and you lost him. So you got to be on top of that. That's business, baby. That's business. Media Max with the question, Proto Mang. I'd love to see future archaeologists stumble upon a Transformer collection like your own in 1,000 years. Well, considering how plastic doesn't break down, it's going to be like that. It's funny. I was actually watching on Discovery. I was watching a documentary about Tutankhamun and the Egyptians, and how, like, Tutankhamun was one of the few pharaohs that when they found his tomb, everything was still intact. No one robbed anything. And he was one of the few pharaohs that were like that. And, all of the stuff that he had in his tomb was all wood and gold and stuff that preserved very well. Plastic will outlast all of that. Plastic takes thousands of years to break down. If my room was like a tomb, my goodness, they would come down here and go, it looks like it was a shrine to a robot god, And then they can see my mummified body in this chair. He must have been there. He must have been there, Pharaoh. It says here, Emperor Proto Man. But yeah, it's my collection is nuts. I mean, this screen that you guys are looking at does not convey what is around here and here. It's pretty crazy. I wish it wasn't a wired camera, because then I would bring you guys around and show stuff. I wish one day I'll invest in something that's a little more high end, and we'll get something like that. We'll do a nice little tour. I do know, and I mentioned it in one of the past streams, that what I do want to do in the future is sometimes we're going to do streams from other rooms. I'm going to invest in other cameras, and we'll do like streams from, let's say, my video game room, and we could have like some gaming going on while I answer questions and whatever, and you'll get to see that craziness behind me. And yeah, I have some ideas in the future. When the big V stops, I'll be able to bring in people on top of that too, have guests physically here, instead of having guests, that are like two screens, and, there's the audio delay. So I hate the audio delay, because sometimes it sounds like we're talking over each other because of the audio delay. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens in the future, but I promise you I'll try to do something. We got a super chat for $7 from Sheriff Latif. And he says, hey, Proto, any advice on displaying vintage TFs with regards to sunlight? Yes, I have quite a few advice with that, and I can even show you physically here afterwards. Do I need to worry about UV protection, especially for my high-end vintage? Okay, my friend, let me tell you right now. I'm going to show you something right now. So this display here is all 1984 to 2001-ish. So G1, and then you got B. Let me just move a little bit. You got G2, Beast Wars, Car Robots, Robots in the Skies. GoBots is down there. You can't see it. This is the vintage area. And the vintage area actually has special lighting that's different. If you notice, this is newer stuff. So like this is Unicron Trilogy, Arma, and it uses white lighting. This uses a white lighting called sunlight or daylight lighting. It's a fluorescent light that you could buy in hardware stores. But this light, which is a little more orangey, if you will, this is what's called museum lighting. And this is the kind of lighting that they use in museums with paintings. Give an example, the Mona Lisa. If you ever see pictures of the Mona Lisa that people take when they go on vacation, you'll notice that the lighting around the Mona Lisa, let me just get a nice shot of everything here for you guys. The lighting around the Mona Lisa is kind of orangey. And it comes off like that, like at least in photography and videos. But this is what's called museum lighting. And museum lighting is extremely low UV. Extremely low UV that it doesn't damage the figures. Because up there, especially when you're talking 1984, 1985, you got Jetfire, which is going to turn yellow. You got Jazz that's going to turn yellow. You got some blue figures that'll also suffer from yellowing. Like... what do you call it? Rumble and Rumble and or Frenzy, depending. It's actually Frenzy technically. He has what's called blue yellowing, where it turns kind of like greenish. So you want to avoid that, and you want to get what's called museum lighting. Usually you could sometimes find them in hardware stores, but my father was like, oh, you could find them usually at like special stores that deal specifically in lighting, and museum lighting is key for that. That way you don't yellow your figures. Now. Unfortunately, it's very expensive, those bulbs, so I didn't bother with the movie toys, the modern toys, and everything like that. Really just with stuff that's a little more UV sensitive. And UV will affect your Transformer toys. They will get yellowed. They will. And, I mean, it's just the nature of collecting older stuff that's kind of sensitive to that kind of thing. I wish I could show you in the other room. I bought a guy's Nintendo Wii collection, and Nintendo Wiis are primarily white in general, and his Nintendo Wii controllers, I guess they sat like in a windowsill or something, and they're crispy yellow. His Nintendo Wii controllers, they just got burned from sitting in a window for like 10 years, just sitting there and doing nothing. And it shows that even newer plastic products, stuff like a Nintendo Wii that came out, what was it, like 2006, 2007, 2008, You know, all those years, and even those could suffer from it. I mean, right there, that's Minerva. Probably one of the most expensive Transformer toys from Generation 1. She's nice and white, but that's because we don't have her kept in exposed light that could cause damage. So keep that in mind. You got to have good lighting for that kind of stuff. I think I did a video on the podcast about lighting. I'm not too sure. You'll have to look into that. It was probably a Patreon listener question. I've done so many throughout the years, it's hard to keep track. But it was one of the older videos. Maybe just do like a search on YouTube for like, you know, like a Transformers Slag podcast and just type display or collecting or collection, and something might come up. Because I know I answered something similar to that. Downright superb, Proto-Mang. How do you feel about Street Fighter 6 reveal? I'm excited about it. They didn't show much stuff. They're really pimping that new character that's kind of supposed to be the new main character of the franchise. But much like when they showed Street Fighter 4's teaser all those years ago, we didn't know what we were looking at. Like, they were kind of like teasing the reverse breaks and stuff, but we didn't know what they were at the time. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, we're looking at something and we don't really know what we're seeing yet. I just hope it's good and balanced. That's all I ask from a fighting game, that it handles well. Proto-Mang is the jam. Laugh out loud. Thank you. Downright superb. We got a donation from Bumblebot, and Bumblebot wants to know, Bumblebot for $1 for a donation. Should Hasbro do a Botbots toy line soft reboot right now, re-release all the previous waves? Well, Mr. Bumblebot, like, the thing is that I kind of relate it to Rescue Bots, where Rescue Bots, and it's not 100% the same, but Rescue Bots came out 6 months before the TV series did. It had a good 6 months on the shelves as a product before we had a TV series. And Rescue Bots also had a very different visual aesthetic and different characters than what was used in the TV series in its initial launch. Like the way that the Cody family was and all those things. And, you know, there was a different aesthetic with the robots too. Like, they didn't look like how they did on the show, like Heatwave and Chase. But after the show came out, then they kind of reissued those older toys. Just they gave them like different paints. They were like energized, like they had clear parts on them and stuff. And then they made new toys again that were more show accurate. So if you look at Burgertron's actual Botbots toy, actually I'll just pull it up right now because you could literally see the differences. Everyone on the show has a very different aesthetic than. So if you look at the bottom left, right? Look at the bottom left and look how those toys look. And then look how the actual designs look in the show. So they could technically reissue those, or they could redo all these characters, make brand new Botbots toys, and there'll be something that matches more the aesthetic of the show. It could be one or the other. You know, it could be kind of like how, like, we could look at these old Botbots on the bottom left, and it could kind of be like G1 1984, where the toys didn't look exactly like the show because the toys predated the show by, well, it's because they were Diaclone and Microman molds, but that's a whole other story. But, you know, they predated the show by a couple months. So who knows? Who knows? Like, I think personally what they'll do, because it's the easier thing to do, is just reissue them. You know, Series 6 Botbots, all those new Botbots that were teased to us, and, you know, Botbots Netflix edition. You know, Netflix exclusive Botbots line. Walmart exclusive, because Walmart got all the Netflix exclusive stuff. That's what they could do. And then those Netflix exclusive ones will feature the molds of characters that are in the show. While Series 6, which will be available in retail and everywhere else, will be all the new stuff. Like the Dukes and, you know, some of the others. All those Rockalord looking ones. Like all the cool stuff. Michael Koo says Emperor Proto sounds like a Mega Man boss. Oof. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. A little bit. Mike Rosen says, a Transformer museum. One day. One day. I always feel that, like, I would just, I don't know what my generation would care about Transformers when I'm an old man. but it's something where if a museum wants it, sure, why not? If they even care by then. We got a super chat from Detective Ferret. Just saw the movie Over the Hedge yesterday for the first time. I actually kind of like that movie. Reminds me of ferrets. I don't know. Detective Ferret for $5. How many voice actors from Generation 1 are still with us? And what are the best versions of the 2007 movie cast in figure form? To answer your first one, quite a few of them are still with us. I have a really good photo, actually, of a lot of the ones that are still with us from TFCon. Let me show you guys. Because when they were in LA, we had like 30 of them together. You know, there was a lot of them that are still with us. You have to understand, a lot of them, some of them were young actors in their 20s and 30s. And yeah, they're older people now. They're older gentlemen and older ladies, but they're still pretty healthy and doing good. Here's a nice photo. Let me just try to... That's a nice chunk of them right there. Dan Gilbazin and all of them. My camera is terrible for this, but there's like, you know, there's Devastator's there, Bumblebee's there, Hoist is there. There's there's a huge chunk. Obviously, you have Greg Berger. You got even some of the more obscure ones like Sandstorm is there, Alita 1, like crazy stuff. And I had some great footage. I'm not going to show all of it, but you have the voice of Splinter from the original Ninja Turtles and the voice of Devastator and Destro singing to each other. Alan Oppenheimer, my man. These guys, the plan. Alan Oppenheimer was there too, the voice of Skeletor, also Sea Spray, and not Sea Spray, Beachcomber. It was crazy. But there's a lot of them are still with us, and now they're in their 50s and 60s. Obviously, there's a few exceptions to the rules. Some of them are in their 70s and 80s, and some of them are not with us anymore. But a lot of them still are. A lot of them still are with us and are still... You know what's funny? There's Beast Wars voice actors that are older than some G1 guys, which is crazy when you think about it. And Beast Wars is like, 12 years after the fact of some of those. To answer your second question, what are the best version of 07 movie characters? Optimus Prime, everyone's going to go with Studio Series stuff like the premium finish and everything. That's kind of the go-to. But I really like Battle Blade's Optimus, the Voyager class, the one that had the Matrix in his chest, the Matrix of Leadership. Battle Blade's Optimus has always been a personal favorite. Jazz, a lot of people rag on the Studio Series one, saying it's too small. So if you don't like the Studio Series one, the Human Alliance one, the full-size one, is fantastic. That's a really good Jazz figure. Who else do we got? We got Ironhide. Yeah, the Studio Series one is superior in every way. Ratchet, I don't like the Studio Series one because it's too small. It's not that good. And they did a premium finish one, which has way more paint than our Studio Series one. So even then, get the premium finish one is better. I'm going to go with, I don't know, pick your random Ratchet movie 2007 Voyager class. That'll kind of work out. And then who am I forgetting? Bumblebee? Oh, man. I don't know. There's only a million Bumblebees. I'll go with Human Alliance Bumblebee just because I like that mold. But, I mean, there's so many Bumblebee toys. Pick your favorite one from 2007. As for like Megatron, I got to go with the Masterpiece one because that's the only one that really captured that craziness of that design. Starscream, the Masterpiece is really good, but so is the Studio Series. So I can't complain about either one of those ones. Who am I forgetting? Barricade, the Human Alliance one is really good, but so is the Studio Series. I'm going to go with the Human Alliance, though, because it has the little frenzy that's really cool. And it could sit in the driver's seat, which is pretty awesome. Who am I forgetting? Blackout, again, you could say Studio Series, because that's really the best version. Who's left? Oh, a Bone Crusher. There really isn't a good Bone Crusher yet. I think the best Bone Crusher is still yet to come. We don't have it yet. that it for movie 2007? Am I forgetting somebody? Bone Crusher? Oh, Brawl. I like that Leader Class Brawl, that original one with all the sound effects. That's still pretty cool, that mold. I think I got them all. And if you want your best Sam Witwicky figure, you get the Indiana Jones 3¼ inch figure series of the character of Mutt. Is the best Sam Witwicky figure you could ever own. There's that one. And the best Michaela figure, I don't know. They're all pretty bad. They're all pretty bad, the little Human Alliance ones. Where we at? DJ Knives the fourth with the $5 super chat question. Could a Super Sentai Team Zoo Ranger be adapted as a sequel to Battle Beast toy line for the next Power Ranger season? Ooh, I don't know about that. Battle Beasts has a weird kind of history because they tried to revive it in Japan for I think it was for its 30th anniversary. No, what was it they had? Oh, it was the 25th anniversary of Battle Beasts in Japan, which was Beast Formers, and they tried to revive it. They did a toy line called Beast Saga, which if you actually look on YouTube, I reviewed the hell out of those toys because I was so excited. I actually have a huge collection. You can't see it off camera, but of the Beast Saga toy line and Battle Beasts, and it didn't do well. Nobody cared. Battle Beasts was a toy line that was fondly remembered by the people who played with it as a kid, but was not a successful toy line. It unfortunately didn't sell very well, and that's why it got discontinued very quickly, both in Japan and in America when it was imported over. And when they tried to revive it for an anniversary, it suffered the same fate. So I don't really think they would do something like that. They just kind of would do their own thing. I don't think they'd mix the Super Sentai Mighty Morphin thing with other Hasbro-owned brands when there's still that ambiguity with what's going on with Bandai and who owns what and who has the toy licenses. It's very dangerous to kind of mess with that kind of stuff. And that's why what we have right now coming up with the new Super Sentai stuff with the Dawn Brothers, and I don't want to go too much into Super Sentai, but I'm really curious what Hasbro is going to do in relation to that, because we're in a new era now of how they're kind of tackling it. So we shall see what happens. Mark Rosen, Lark Toys and Kellogg's MN has a toy museum. They also have a carousel with wooden animals you could ride. Oh, that's cool. I'd love to see toy museums. Like every time I travel to big cities in the United States or even small towns in the United States, I always try to see like what's in the local scene. I'll always crack open my phone and see what pops up on the Google Maps. Even if it's like a tourist trap, I always dig that kind of stuff. Good times, good times. One day we'll get back to that when the world is back to normal and I could see all you people again when we do the con scenes. Tom Laney, yeah, never seen Kingdom Galvatron in stores, so ordered the Selects one. Yeah, you get your opportunities. And now you're going to be able to get the Legacy one, although that will probably suffer from inflation prices, unfortunately. Downright Superb Proto, do you got a personal ranking of all the TF series? Oof. That's I could say like what are my like top ones for sure. Anyone who goes on my Twitter account, my pinned comment on my Twitter account is kind of my feeling of some Transformers series, which are like, you know, middle road, which are great, which are kind of eh. But I always say, like, in no particular order, I'm not going to say which is better than others because it's all debatable, but in no particular order, you could decide which is number one, but I always felt Beast Wars, number one, animated. Cyberverse is very good, especially, you know, Cyberverse's only weakness is short episodes. Transformers Prime, I love Transformers Master Force. I think it's a fantastic series that doesn't get enough love. I'm going to go with those. But at the same time, Transformers Victory is on the outside too, looking pretty cool also. You know what I mean? And there's other small little series too that are fun. You know, maybe Cyberverse falls on the outside with Victory. And then let's not even get into comic books, and you know, let's not even get into the 86 movie. You know, if you have patience for subtitles, Beast Wars 2nd and Beast Wars Neo are two really fun series too, because if you love Beast Wars, now you could finally associate characters with those toys that you collected from the Beast Wars line. So just that in a nutshell. Obviously, I know you probably noticed, like, oh, you left out, like, Unicron trilogy stuff. Armada's good, but watch the Japanese dub. Energon is good, but watch the Japanese dub. Do not watch the English dub of Energon, Armada, and Cybertron. They are terrible dubs. No offense to the voice actors associated with it, but when David Kaye, who is literally, top 3 voice actor of all time, cannot do a Megatron line properly because of the dubbing process, you're in a tough situation. Watch Micron Legend, Superlink, and Galaxy Force. I love Galaxy Force, but I understand some people don't like subtitles, so that's why I don't usually include it on a suggestion list. People don't like to read. That's why I also don't suggest comics sometimes, unfortunately, or novels. I'm a big novel guy. I like to read a lot, and it's tough to get people to read, unfortunately. It's just the way it is sometimes. Downright superb. Okay, I read that one. Where were we? Timmy K. Point Dexter Jr. Esquire with the $5 super chat. Yow Proto, gotta cook dinner now. Just want to know what's for dinner. Well, Timmy, what's for dinner? Just before I did the podcast, I had the most Canadian dinner ever. Anyone who's a fan of South Park, what did Proto Man have? He had Kraft dinner for dinner. I actually had macaroni and cheese for dinner. I wanted something heavy because I was doing a lot of cleaning in the game room and I just wanted to have a lot of heavy food. And not to mention I've been shoveling snow like crazy. Oh my God, this week, I don't want to get into it, but this week was a crazy week for me. Let's put it this way, in terms of being stuck outdoors. Let's just say that. But I had mac and cheese before I ate, and probably after this, maybe just something light. It's very heavy. Pasta's very heavy. And me, I destroy it. I have a lot of it. I'm probably going to have maybe, I don't know, grilled cheese. I'm going to try to keep something simple and light. Tomorrow, though, I don't know, maybe okonomiyaki, something Asian, maybe some udon. We will see. We will see how I feel. If I want some sodium in my life. But thank you for the food question at 9:30 at night for me. Tom Laney, yeah, that'll probably pick it up. Tom Laney also says, you have any versions of it? Ooh, I must have missed a question. Ask again, Tommy. Let's see. Oh my God, there's so much more. Let me try to catch up, guys. I'm so sorry if I'm missing anything. Where are we at? We have a super chat here from DJ Knives Forth. Every time Hasbro creates a Unicron Herald as a repaint or redeco of an already existing character, I can't help but think an uncreative and lazy. That's it. Well, the reality is, DJ, is a lot of repaints are primarily done just because you have a situation where Hasbro needs to get mileage out of molds. They do a mold. And then they go, well, we took the time and energy to make it. We got to, get some money out of it. It's not like a G.I. Joe figure. Like, let me give you an example. Look at this Mario figure. This is done by Jazzware. It obviously was released in Japan, too. It's a simple little figure with simple little articulation. There wasn't much engineering involved. A designer put it together. 3, 4, 5 pieces of plastic, paint. That's it. Then you take a Transformer toy. How many pieces of plastic on this? Whew. I'd have to say 40 for this little deluxe here of movie Optimus Prime, a.k.a. my Prima on my display. 40 pieces of plastic, engineering to kind of figure out the transformation. This is an Aaron Archer creation, actually. He designed this one. But, 40 pieces of plastic, paint, engineering, time, cost. They got to milk those molds, brother. They got to milk those molds. Get the best out of it. They got to get the best out of it. I hope I didn't miss anything, guys. Everything's jumping around here. I don't know why, it's not giving me all the questions in order. Media Max, Protomang, if you ever got kids, I'd love to have all my Transformers. Oh, if you ever got kids, I'll have all my Transformers in alt mode, then transform them all into robot mode. When they were 3 to 6, it was hilarious. I had a friend that once came over, and he's like, bro, when I come back over next time, I want to see everything in vehicle mode. And I'm like, yeah, okay. It would take me a year to do that easily. It would take me a year to do that for sure. If I missed any questions, please let me know, guys. I'm so sorry. Everything's kind of jumping around here. I don't know what happened. Eldon Tolbert with the super chat for $5. Imagine and react if there is a female version of Zarek Scorponok with TFA Waspinator treatment and wants revenge on Swoop. Well, there never has been a female version of Scorponok, but they did do a pink repaint of the Scorponok mold, which is Double Punch, and they've done it quite a few times. Although Double Punch, at least as far as we know, is a male character. I wouldn't be surprised if it got retconned into a female character, but as far as we know, it's a male character. So who knows? Maybe we might get a Double Punch repaint that is a female character, maybe from a Scorponok. Let's see what else we got. The questions. Man, everything's just jumping around. If I miss anything, guys, please point it out to me, especially if it's super chats that you guys paid for. Jonathan Preston with the $5 super chat. What would be your dream crazy out of left field Transformer crossover? Out of left field have to be Mega Man. Mega Man for sure. Mega Man #1 would be, like, without question, Mega Man Transformer crossover I'd love. #2 would be Initial D. And we kind of got it with the Transformer Q Transformers. There was a line of Transformers called Q Transformers, and Jazz turned into the 86 Corolla, and Sideswipe turned into the FD3S. And if you're a fan of Initial D, which is a racing anime, which is easily my favorite anime of all time, oh man, I would love full-size Transformers that turn into those guys. I would love that. That would be like Initial D Transformer crossover, Takumi and Kiesuke and Ryosuke and all those guys. Oh my god, that'd be so cool. That would be so cool. It'll probably never happen. I mean, you know what? I take it back. Anything is possible. But Mega Man Transformers for sure. That's the go-to. That's the one that also kind of writes itself. Like, it's very, you could write a story with that, with the Mavericks and the Maverick virus and the Decepticons working with the Mavericks to try to take over the future, and, you know, Mega Man X, or even if you want to use the OG series with Proto Man and Mega Man and Roll and everything, it writes itself. It's pretty easy, that one. The question is does Capcom want to play ball? They did Street Fighter Transformers, and unfortunately those didn't sell well, despite the fact that I was all over them. I loved those. Oh man, there's this great photo of me with James Roberts, like at his table, because I was James's liaison, and you could see behind me I had both the Transformer crossover Street Fighters, because I love those, and I bought those. I bought them from TF Source. I think they gave me a good deal, because they were having problems moving them. Downright Superb's asking the same question. What other franchises would you like to see Transformers crossover with? So, kind of that. That would be my left field ones. Power Rangers is the other one, too. I've said the Power Ranger story. I did a whole segment on it on the podcast, like explaining how I would do it if they did a crossover with Power Rangers. DJ Knives the fourth, again with the $5 super chat question. Should Hasbro do a collaboration with Nightmare of Elm Street? Ooh, I don't know about that one. Because, you know, I know that NECA does a lot of stuff with the horror guys. And NECA kind of has a really good relationship and deal with those horror companies. So I think that Hasbro would have to really pull them away. Because NECA is like Freddy Krueger, Jason, you know, the Predator stuff, the Alien stuff, you know, which is ironic because Aliens used to be with Hasbro and Kenner, so, and Predator too. But you'd have to look at NECA for that, and even then NECA doesn't do transforming stuff. So we shall see. Michael Butcher, hey Proto Man, my birthday is this Monday. Well then, that would be the 28th of February. Oh my goodness, you are a crazy leap year kid. Well, early happy birthday, my friend. Imagine if you would have been one day later born, you would have been in some kind of weird limbo depending on what day that was. You dodged a bullet there, my friend. Happy birthday in a couple days. And thank you for being a 5-month YouTube member of the Transformers Slag podcast. Media Max, what other franchises would you like to see Transformer crossover? Already answered that. Proto Mang, who's your favorite top 3 favorite comedians? Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr. I can't pick 3. There's a lot. I'll name like a bunch. Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Louis Black, Patrice O'Neal. Rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal was amazing. Richard Pryor, young Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey when he was young was insane. Find that on YouTube. Jim Carrey when he used to do stand-up was amazing. Who else is really good? Oh my goodness. But if I had to pick like a top 3, I'll go with number 1. I'll go with Dave Chappelle, then Patrice O'Neal. Rest in peace, Patrice. Man, that dude was amazing. And I'll go with Bill Burr for number 3. I know I'm going to regret it, but yeah, I'll go with Bill Burr for number 3. George Carlin, that's another one. George Carlin was really good. Rest in peace, George. George Carlin, I loved just as much for Shining Time Station as a kid as I did, and Thomas the Tank Engine as much as a stand-up comedian. But he was a profound stand-up comedian. Like George Carlin is kind of like what Dave Chappelle is today. Like Dave Chappelle is kind of becoming like George Carlin, where it's not so much stand-up, but it's profound stand-up, which is stuff that makes you think. Which, in this world, you got to do a lot more thinking and a lot less emotional stuff. You know? Stinkfist69, did you watch the Elimination Chamber match, and what are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar destroying everyone? Yes, I did watch it, and I'm going to say this, Stinkfist69, I think, without a doubt, this is going to be the least exciting WrestleMania of all time. I have been watching wrestling since I was a child. My first ever memory, ever. Like if you ask me what was the first memory I've ever had, ever. And one of my earliest memories was watching Hulk Hogan back in the day with my uncle. And I've watched wrestling my whole life since that, you know, the rock and roll wrestling era up until today, you know, the early 80s until now. And I always watch WrestleMania. And I think it's because of everything that's going on behind the scenes with Shane McMahon, what's going on with Vince and the company's future. And I think that they're just not really focusing on having a good WrestleMania this year. And they just kind of want to sell the company. I know that sounds terrible. And just to kind of go off on a sidebar, Cesaro, who I thought was a fantastic wrestler and easily one of my favorite wrestlers in the company that was still active at the time, he recently left the WWE. Thank goodness, because I love Cesaro. I think he's amazing, and they mistreated him and ruined and used him terribly for 15 years. Cesaro, go to AEW and rock it, brother. That's all I'm going to say. Enough wrestling for the people that are going like, huh? I remember The Rock. He was Cliff Jumper. Michael Koo with the super chat to bring it back to Transformers. Has Hasbro or Mattel ever done a collaboration? I'm trying to think outside of Transformers even. No. Mattel has done stuff with Playmates. They've worked together with them. And maybe Hasbro bought a licensing fee for Jurassic Park, maybe to do the Jurassic Park stuff from Mattel. But that's literally probably about it. I can't think of anything else. Man, that's a good one. That's a good one, Michael. That's a really good one. I have to really do some research on that one. I know that there's Hasbro people that look at what Mattel's doing and sometimes scratches their head, but I don't think they've ever worked together, to my knowledge. If they did do something, I'm definitely forgetting it, but I can't think of anything. Not downright. Stinkfist 69. I can't agree. Excuse me. I agree. I can't stand how the WWE does their wrestlers. Yeah, right now it's. I mean, even look when Vince. I think Vince is getting ready to sell the company. I think in Vince's mind, he never wanted to hand over the company to his family. I think he wanted to sell it and then go into the sunset, and then he'll be remembered as the good old days, and everything else will be corporate. Who knows? It's sad to even think about it, considering it was such a big part of my child. Look, literally on my tower is a Bret Hart action figure, because you're Canadian, you have to have a Bret Hart action figure. Wrestling is a big part of my childhood and my life, and it's kind of sad to see the way it is right now. But nothing is perfect forever. Sometimes there's ups and downs. Michael Koo with the super chat for $5 asked about Hasbro Mattel because He-Man's 40th anniversary is 2023. Oh no, I don't. I know what you're getting at. I don't think there's going to be like a Battle Cat Transformer Panther Transformer Skeletor. I don't think that's going to happen. We've had plenty of third-party stuff. There's Skeletron, which I did a review on my Proto Retro channel. There was a Transformer Skeletor thing, but never anything official. And then of course you have the Pretender shell of Cadillac, which looks like Battle Cat, pretty much. So I know what you're getting at. I don't think so. I think in 2023 they're going to do. I think they're going to do other stuff. I think they're going to do maybe what's in 2023 would be 1983, and 1983 you have Tron, so that's Disney, and Disney works with Hasbro. So maybe we could get that RC Bumblebee movie and repaint that into a Tron laser cycle. I'd be all over that. That'd be really cool. Give me a Tron laser cycle with a little Jeff Bridges figure. I love Jeff Bridges. Stinkfist 69, me too, but I try to watch WWE around WrestleMania. I watch all year round, and I listen to podcasts, and to kind of keep up when I can't watch, and it's kind of rough right now. Joseph Ritter with the $5 super chat. Mac and cheese, I thought you were in the north. It's called Kraft Dinner. I called it Kraft Dinner at the beginning, but I call it mac and cheese too. Thoughts on Kids in the Hall? Kids in the Hall and South Park, they always make those jokes. Kids in the Hall is a classic, man. Classic. I love it when Americans say that they love Kids in the Hall. And SCTV. All your love of Saturday Night Live started from Canada. Never forget that. The crazy Canadians. Crazy Canadians. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. And again, be sure to get some Symbiote Studio stuff. Booga, booga, booga. Be sure to pick it up. SymbioteStudios.com. Just figure I'd throw that in there. We have Mike Rosen. I like the WWE crossover with He-Man. Yeah, I love those. I want to find the Bret Hart figure with Triclops. That looks so freaking cool. And I've been trying to find those Bret Hart plushes. Do you know how hard it is to get Bret Hart merchandise in Canada? Because it gets eaten up right away. Whenever there's I've been looking for that stupid Bret Hart plush that's in Walmart, and every time I see the display, it's always, oh, there's Randy, there's John Cena, there's The Undertaker, no Bret Harts. Every time. It's all getting scalped. I'm getting killed over here. It's nuts. It's terrible. The Podski for the $5 super chat. Grazing into the future, do you see any toy companies merging or shutting down in the future? I've said tons of times that I sometimes feel that Mattel is kind of... I think Mattel is literally surviving because of the WWE brand, and Barbie is just kind of like, it's doing... Like, I was watching... I just said I watched Over the Hedge recently, and I was looking at all the toy commercials, and like... LOL's surprise is destroying Barbie. Destroying Barbie. You know? Like Barbie is like barely getting by now. I mean, she still probably is like a go-to for a lot of parents, but like I think little girls, when they want a doll, they don't want Barbie. There's so much other stuff that's more popular with little girls right now. And then when you look at stuff like Hot Wheels, it's only the adult collector market. So like Mattel's in a weird place. They really are. So if there's any company that I feel, if I had to predict one company, I predict Mattel merging with Hasbro or Disney buying Mattel so that they can make everything directly through them, like their Disney Princess stuff that they bought back recently. DJ Knives the Fourth with a $5 super chat. Titan Returns Megatron, Siege Starscream, Bumblebee Movie Soundwave, and Cyber Series Shockwave are the best updated version of those characters. Okay, hold on. Titan Returns Megatron. I assume you're referring to the Leader Class one? Is that the one you're referring to? Siege Starscream. Some people would argue the Earthrise one, but I'll give you that one because I like the Tetradret mauve too. I like that mold also. I'll give you that one. Movie Bumblebee Soundwave. Oh, that's because it has that cool design there that looks like a frisbee. And Cyber Series Shockwave. Cyber Series Shockwave. Is that the Cyberverse one you're referring to? The deluxe class? Because I like that one. That one's really cool. And it's subjective. There's so much out there. There's so much out there. We got 10 minutes left in the stream. Jeez, we flew. We flew today, boys and girls. And all the pretty people in the world. The 5% women that come to watch the podcast, according to my analytics. Detective Ferret wants to know for a $5 super chat. What do you think of the third-party Energon Prime? I think it looks really cool. I think they figured out a way to make some good articulation from good old Chunky Boy over there. You can barely see him. Yeah, there he is over there. That's all my Energon stuff. This is all Unicron trilogy and above. Yeah, it looks really, really good. The fact that they could really do really good articulation with the ARM modules and make a decent base mode from that trailer. Because let me tell you something. If we want to talk about the worst trailer of all time for Optimus Prime, it's got to be that Energon one. Like G1 Prime's trailer turned into that cool roller bass. G2 Prime's trailer turned into that cool roller bass, but now black. Power Master Optimus Prime's trailer turned into a cool little base that even you could put your Power Master characters on the turrets and stuff like that. Action Master Optimus Prime turns into like a giant base and everything. Laser Optimus Prime, it turns into all these cool bases. I could keep going and going, like Armada and Cybertron and RID, it turned into a base, but it also became the super mode parts. And then you got Energons. That was just this weird chunk of plastic that just kind of just stored shit. And it was just not good. It was just not good. It was such a waste, such a wasted opportunity. It tried to act like it was like a base where it had like a piece that comes down and a little antenna pops up, but there just was no veneer detail on it that made it exciting. There was like no paint apps on it. It was all molded in its plastic colors. So it was like black and grays and that's it. The worst trailer of all time. Worst trailer ever. Downright superb. Will there ever be a circuit breaker again? Well, that's if Marvel wants to let go of the license and then let Hasbro make a circuit breaker figure. Or we might get a situation that may be like Death's Head, where we'll get a Marvel figure of Circuit Breaker in the Marvel Legends line. And then they'll use Circuit Breaker in, some kind of Marvel material. Like Death's Head. Anyone who was a Transformer collector, when that 3-inch Death's Head figure came out by the Marvel Legends 3 1/4, they picked them up, yo. They picked them up. How much time we got? We got 6 minutes left. My goodness. What a rockin' day today, people, let me tell you. With all the news and all the crazy stuff and all the awesomeness. Until the next super chat comes in, I'm just going to use this time right now to just say, again, thank you everyone for all the love and support that we get on the podcast. We're the #1 Transformer podcast in the world. And it's because of you guys who tune in all the time and constantly, bring in the views, bring in the comments. Again, like, comment, subscribe. It makes all the difference with the YouTube algorithms. It puts my face on that front page so that I could school people and educate people on the Transformer world. And it's because you guys tune in, and helps that too, especially the Patreon people who are YouTube members, people who super chat. Keeps the machine that is this podcast rolling week to week, month to month, year to year. It's crazy, but I mean, I don't remember when was the last time I skipped one of the live streams since I started doing this. I know I'm going to have to at some point when the cons start becoming a thing again. But again, it's thanks to you guys. Downright Superb says, I think it would be cool if a TF series about humans dominating the galaxy and forcing Transformers to go into disguise. Well, I mean, that's why I liked Master Force, was because it was very... I don't like Transformer series that are very human-centric if the human characters don't serve a purpose. If they're just going to be on the side and get in the way, which most of the time that's what humans have been, then I don't want them there at all. Like if they're going to... Because then they're just there to waste time. It's there to hire a voice actor, to waste the budget. It's there to take away from time that could be character development. If they're not going to do anything and get in the way... why was animated great? Because we thought, Sari's our human character on the side, and then spoiler, wasn't a human character on the side. Why was Cyberverse so great? No humans. Why was Beast Wars so great? No humans. Yeah, there were some proto-humans, but that's a different story. So like some of the best Transformer series is they kind of don't use humans, or like Master Force, if there is humans, they play a big part. They play a big part in the ongoing story. And if I do have humans, they better be playing a big part. Not just, oh no, Optimus, what are we going to do? Comedy, humor, funny stuff. So, look, Earthspark, it's the same thing. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see it. I think it looks cool, but I hope those humans don't waste my time. I want a series that develops those brand new characters I just saw. You know what I mean? I want to see that guy that's doing this. What's his story? I want to see that red whirl-looking girl. What's her story? Tell me that stuff. If the humans are awesome, hey, that's great. I loved Miko. Miko in Transformers Prime, but she got involved. Apex Armor, the whole 9 yards. When they get involved and they serve a narrative purpose, sign me up. But if they're just there to kind of get in the way, to become the Princess Peach that needs to be rescued because the Decepticons captured them, don't waste my time. Tell me more about Jazz's background than telling me about some human character. I'd rather learn about that. Tell me about why Hound likes human culture, not why a human likes Transformer culture. Don't care about that. If I wanted to learn about what a human likes about Transformer culture, I'd look in the mirror. Let's see. Where we at? I lost my spot here. Oh, here we go. Tom Laney, thanks for another great podcast, Proto. Thank you, Tom, for tuning in. That's a great. Thank you for the great podcast. Thanks for a great podcast. Thank you, Mike. Proto, you the man. Thank you, Downright Superb. We're not done yet. We still got 2 minutes. And then I'll do my closing statements after 2 minutes. But it's don't go Marky Mark, the man in the mirror. No one's going to get that reference, Stinkfist 69, except me and you. Downright Superb, personally, I don't care about C. I don't care about C. I don't know what you mean, but I'm sure you probably hit the enter key too early. But yeah, like Proto Man, thanks for a great live stream. Thank you, Michael Koo. Thank you for the donations for the charity auction and all the cool stuff and an absolutely fantastic figure. What I was not expecting how good this would be. I'm not a big third party guy, but I'm a big Beast Wars guy, and when third party does really good Beast Wars, you're knocking on my door, So thanks for everything you donated and everything that you sent. Next week we're gonna have another big box of stuff we're gonna be cracking open from Jason. So we're going to check all that cool stuff too. We're going to have one last question, and it's from Downright Superb. Protomang, choose Nintendo or Sega? Bro, I was a Nintendo kid growing up. I was there during the console wars. Did I like what Sega was doing? Yeah, of course. I love Mario. You know, I love Nintendo. It's a huge part of my childhood. I had every system growing up. But at the same time, when I would go to my friend's house, shout out to Josh back in the day in grade school, he had a Sega Genesis, and I thought Sonic 2 was pretty awesome. I thought Altered Beast was a really cool game. I thought the blood on Mortal Kombat was better on his version, and Comic Zone and Golden Axe, and, you know, Shining Force 2 is a fantastic RPG, and I could go on, but I'll always be a Nintendo guy before Sega. Even though Sega has some fantastic stuff, don't get me wrong. And if you want to, if you have a PS3, an Xbox, or I think they did it on GameCube also, get the Sonic collection on PlayStation 3 or Xbox One, Xbox 360 or whatever. There's the Sonic Sega collection, where it has like all the best Sega Genesis games all in one platform. Fantastic stuff. Really good. If you want to like revisit that and you don't have to buy an old console or do emulation, because that's a bad word on the internet. But yeah, that's it for everything, guys. Downright Superb says Sega is tops. Well, there you go, everyone. I have this great Sega book that I bought recently about the history of Sonic. It has great art and stuff about his girlfriend Madonna that was never used. Never knew about that. Thanks, everyone, for coming to the stream. Again, wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Just want to give a shout out to the sponsors. Again, Symbiote Studios. Check them out, symbiotestudios.com. Go pick up a plush. Go pick up a set of pins. Get those Megatron pins before they sell out, because they are going to sell out. The Optimus pins are gone. All that's left is those Megatron pins. Get them while they're hot now, and get yourself a Unicron, because when those are gone, those are gone. And you are going to regret it if you don't pick up that Unicron, because this thing is freaking amazing. Love that thing. So go get it. Go get something before it sells out, because when it's gone, and then you're going to have to rely on all the new stuff in the future. So pretty cool stuff there. And again, go watch some Transformer stuff on Hasbro's YouTube channel. Our sponsorship with Hasbro is going to be reverting over, I want to say, in 3 weeks from now. So you're going to see a new image over here. But stay tuned for that. Just go check out their YouTube channel. Go watch some Cyberverse stuff. It's good for their algorithms and everything. That's how the sponsorship works. Thanks all for coming. #1 podcast in the world because of you guys. My name is Protoman. This is the Transformers Slag podcast. And like I always say, roll out.